Session. Hello everyone. I hope my voice is clear for everyone, including the online candidates and everyone. Welcome for the first session of Selenium with Java. My name is Krishna, as most of you know, and today's session is just a quick orientation towards Selenium. So basically, I will actually try to tell you what are the things that we are trying to cover in our coming sessions, and of course, we'll also talk about why Selenium is so popular and so it's having so much demand in the market. Okay, now with that, in fact, we have actually made a lot of changes to the course content. We have included a lot of exciting components, newly added components to Selenium, like how you can do Selenium testing on cloud, how we can perform Selenium testing via Docker. So many new components have been added, which we will try to discuss in detail. But anyhow, let's quickly start off with the demo session. So friends, all of us know that Selenium is basically a functional testing tool. What is the meaning of functional testing tool? You can answer. What is the meaning of functional testing tool? It is a tool which is used for testing the functionality. Functionality in the sense, for example, let's say I open Google and click on Gmail link. When you click on Gmail link, what is expected? Gmail login page should be opened, right? That is the functionality of the Gmail link. So whether it is serving that purpose or not, checking that is called as functional testing. See, every element which is present on your page has some purpose. You have links, you have buttons, radio buttons, checkboxes. When you do some activity on them, something should happen. Some expected activity should happen. Whether that is happening or not, checking that is called as functionality testing. A simple example is when I enter a valid username and a valid password, and when I click on the sign in button, what should happen? It should log into my application. Whether it is logging in or not, checking that, we call it as functional testing. Selenium is a tool which is used for performing that kind of functional testing automation. Okay. Now, basically, friends, listen carefully. To work as a software tester, we don't require programming knowledge. If it's manual testing that you are trying to do, you don't require programming knowledge. All that we require is understanding of the functionalities. What should happen on that page? For example, I am taking Flipkart. All of us know Flipkart is an e-commerce site where you can purchase things, etc., etc. So what are the different components which are present in Flipkart? What should happen when you click on electronics? What should happen when you click on Motorola? That flow, if you know, anyone can do the testing. Now, what is Selenium? Instead of a person sitting on the computer and manually doing these operations, you are asking a tool to do that. Selenium is that tool. Now, in order to work on Selenium, it is compulsory that we should have some basic programming knowledge, some basic knowledge. In fact, shortly we'll discuss, Selenium can be implemented with different languages. In our sessions, we'll be learning Selenium through Java. So to effectively work on Selenium, it's necessary that we have to have some basic understanding of the Java programming knowledge, programming language. Now, I'm sure we do have in our batch some people who already know Java, and we have people who might be starting Java from the scratch. Doesn't matter, because we will take up Java from the very basics and we'll build the course in such a way that even experienced persons can understand, and even lay persons who starting from the beginning, even they can understand. But to attend these sessions, you do not require any prior knowledge of Java. Whatever Java is necessary for Selenium, everything will be covered in our course, and based on that, we'll actually continue. Okay, fine friends. So we were actually saying that Selenium is a tool which is used for automating web applications. It is used for testing the functionality of a web application. Now, Selenium is not the only tool which is available in market for doing functional testing. We have a lot of other tools like Coded UI, Auto IT, recently Tosca. So many tools are there which are performing the same functional testing automation. But we know that Selenium probably is the only tool which has the highest number of job openings in automation sector. What do you think? What is the reason? When so many other tools are there, QTP you have, which is a licensed software, it's a very powerful software. When so many software applications are there which can do the same functional testing automation, why do you think Selenium has more number of jobs, or why most of the companies are using Selenium for doing software testing? Any idea? Selenium is a open source software, whereas QTP is a licensed software. Okay, see, to attend my sessions, please don't be under the misconception, because most of the students again and again ask me, do we need to have knowledge of QTP to understand Selenium? No, not at all. You don't need to. I'm just comparing it with QTP. The only reason why I'm comparing is it becomes more easier if you have understanding of the differences between QTP and Selenium. It becomes more easier. I just have a checklist where I actually stored the differences between QTP and Selenium. Just give me a second, friends. I forgot the name of that document. It's maybe Selenium, might be. Yeah, brilliant. Fine. This was the document. Fine. So friends, as you can see on my screen, this is a simple document where I actually sorted out. I stored some of the differences between Selenium and its prime competitor. What is our prime competitor in the market currently? QTP. Though we say it's a competitor, it's not really having that much market. But let's try to understand. See, almost 6 years back or so, when I was actually looking for a job on software testing, most of the companies where I attended the interviews and all that, at that time QTP they were using. No one looked for Selenium. But we see that since the last 4 years or so, the market has shifted from using QTP into Selenium. So both QTP and Selenium are basically performing the same functional testing automation. But why this change has come? As some of our friends have already told, Selenium, when it comes to Selenium is actually a open source software, whereas QTP is a licensed software. Okay. Now, open source. Can someone tell me what is the meaning of that word open source? It's free. Anyone can download it and anyone can use it. Now, if it's free, if it is free, can't we simply call it as a free software? Why are we calling it as an open source software?
You can add some programs.
Yes. Skype. Let's take the example of Skype. All of us use Skype, right? We don't need to pay Microsoft people any money for using Skype. At least for the basic version, we don't pay any money, right? We just go to the Microsoft site, you download Skype, install it, next, installation is over, we start using Skype. Why do we use Skype, friends? For video calls, chatting, etc., etc. Now, we are not paying a single rupee to the Microsoft people for using Skype, but we simply call Skype as a free software. We don't call Skype as an open source software. When it comes to Selenium, I am saying Selenium is an open source software application. What does that mean? It means that, yes, as you are telling, it's a free software. Anyone can download it and anyone can use it. Apart from being free, the source code, Selenium was actually created using a programming language called Java. So the source code of Selenium can be downloaded, and if you have the necessary skills in Java, you can customize it according to your requirements. I hope you are understanding. Friends, it's for both online and classroom. It's not necessary that the online students have to be silent when the session is happening. You can, fire any questions you have. So don't wait until the class is over for both classroom and online. So friends, I hope everyone understood. The first thing is that Selenium is free of cost. Anyone can download the source code and you can modify it according to your requirements. The next very beautiful feature of Selenium when compared to other tools is that Selenium supports multiple languages. Selenium supports multiple languages. Some of the languages are listed here like Java, C#, Perl, Python, Ruby, okay, PHP, etc., etc. Now, if you know any one of these languages, it is sufficient to work on Selenium. I am not saying that we have to have knowledge of all these languages. Any one of them, if you know, that is sufficient to work on Selenium. And in our session, we will be learning Selenium through Java programming language. Again, I am repeating, please don't be under the misconception that you need to have knowledge of Java in order to attend the Selenium sessions, because I will be teaching you Java right from the scratch, and based on that, we'll be building up the course. And one more thing that we have added for your batch is, probably all of you are aware that our sessions are actually for a duration of 6 to 7 weeks. 6 would be minimum, maximum would be 7 weeks, somewhere around. And every day we'll be having a session for 1.5 hours. 6 days a week we'll have sessions, Monday to Saturday. So 6 weeks is the course duration. Apart from these 6 weeks of whatever we are promising in the course content, we are also offering another 40 hours of free training on Java and SQL. It's not me, it's some other trainer who will take that. Once the session is over, that session will start. So that's free. It's your choice whether you want to attend it or not. Depending, if you feel that you want to brush up your skills on Java and SQL, you can actually attend that session also, but it will be an added advantage. See, whatever Java is necessary for Selenium, that I will cover in our sessions itself. You don't need to depend on any other sessions. But increasingly what we see is when professionals like you attend interviews on Selenium, they don't simply ask questions on Selenium. They actually do a lot of, they fire a lot of questions on SQL and Java also. So if you want to really successfully clear the interview, simply having good knowledge of Selenium is not sufficient. We need to be proficient with Java and SQL. So keeping that in mind, we are again, giving another 40 hours of training on Java and SQL. It's for your benefit that you can actually use it. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. You see, here it says that Selenium supports different languages. Some of these languages are programming languages and some of these languages are scripting languages. Everyone is aware what is a scripting language and what is a programming language? Do Google search and tell me tomorrow. Okay. What is the difference between a scripting language and a programming language? But anyhow, it supports both. When it comes to QTP mainly works only on VB-script. Okay, of course it supports JScript and a few other scripting languages, but mainly you see that most of the organizations implement Selenium through VB-script. So if you want to work on QTP, mandatorily we have to learn VB-script. When it comes to Selenium, you have a big choice. Either you can go with Java or C# or any one of these languages. The next point says it is highly extensible. You know what is the meaning of highly extensible? You can add third-party APIs, third-party softwares you can add to Selenium and you can actually make it more powerful. Samira, if you have any questions, you can either post it on the chat or maybe you can directly talk to me. Okay. So, I hope my voice is clear, right? So,
yes, sir, you're audible to me.
Yeah, fine. Thank
Hello.
you. Thank you.
Yes, sir. You said about that SQL sessions for free sessions. Is it available for online students too?
Yeah, of course, Samira.
Okay. Yes, sir. I have a doubt on that answer.
Yeah, it's for everyone. It's for everyone. It's for online and classroom for everyone. The same thing happens. I mean, the course content that we have delivered is the same is for both online and classroom. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Fine.
Thank you, sir.
Friends, the very next important definition, important feature of QTP that all of you have to keep in mind is Selenium supports multiple browsers. What are the different browsers that you generally use? Google Chrome. All of you know what is Chrome, right? We also use Mozilla Firefox. We use Internet Explorer. We use maybe Safari or we use Opera. These are the different browsers, right? Selenium can perform the testing on any browser. And the most beautiful feature of Selenium is whatever program you are designing to test on one browser, the same program will work on other browsers. We call it as cross-browser testing. Now, in the QTP side, though the list is shown as it works on Firefox, IE, and Chrome, primarily QTP is designed to work on Internet Explorer. On Firefox and Chrome, it does work, but we do have a lot of limitations. So if you want to perform end-to-end testing, I want to test all the functionalities which are present on my page, QTP primarily supports Internet Explorer browser. Selenium supports almost all the browsers out there. Okay. Now, you just analyze and tell me. Imagine that I want to test Facebook.com web page, right? Facebook is a web application. I want to test Facebook. Can we do the testing of Facebook only on one browser and say that our testing is over? Facebook will be opened by people like you and me from different browsers. You might be opening on Chrome, I might be opening on Safari, someone else might be using some other browser. Then how can we do the testing on one browser and say that our testing is over? Common sense, right? Selenium supports that. Selenium promises what is called as cross-browser testing. You create the program on one browser, it can run on any browsers. Practically, we'll actually see that once we go into some of the advanced concepts in Selenium. The next very, very important feature of Selenium is Selenium supports different operating systems. As you can see on my screen, it supports all these operating systems like Windows, Linux, and Mac. And when it comes to QTP is supporting basically only one operating system, which is Windows. Again, the same question. Can we say that everyone will open book only on Windows machine? Don't we have a lot of people who use Mac machines? Or don't you think there might be some geeks, technical fellows who might be preferring to use a Linux machine? I use a Ubuntu machine. So how do I test it whether Facebook is working properly on my Linux machine or not? Selenium supports that. And again the same feature. The program that you are creating for doing the testing on Windows, the same program without making any changes can perform testing on Linux, Mac. See, when I say Linux, can you imagine how many flavors of Linux are there in the market? Red Hat Linux, CentOS, Ubuntu, Solaris, IBM AX, all the banners that you see in Amirpet, so many different flavors. All those things Selenium will support. Linux is not just one operating system. There are so many flavors of Linux which are available. Selenium will work on all those, and we will actually practically implement them in the sessions. It's not theoretically that we are discussing them. We will show you how Selenium program can run on a Linux machine, Mac machine, and everything. The recent features of Selenium are actually supporting the testing on mobile applications also. We'll talk about that. QTP can support mobile applications, but there are a lot of limitations. We need to add a lot of add-ons. Now, when the program is running, when the Selenium program is running, I can actually minimize my browser and I can do some other activity. See, let's say I created a Selenium automation program which is supposed to test the complete Facebook, all the links present on Facebook, every feature present on Facebook I want to test. Now, don't you think such a program will take some time? Maybe 1 hour, 2 hours, or even more. Now, if you are running similar script on QTP will actually freeze your machine, which means when the program is running, we can't really perform any other activities on that machine. When it comes to Selenium, I can simply minimize my browser and I can continue with some other work that I want to do. So, it's not necessary that the browser should be on opened position. The next most important definition of Selenium, we can say next most important feature of Selenium is it can run the program. Something is going wrong. Just a second. It can run the program on multiple browsers and multiple operating systems parallelly. You know what is the meaning of parallel testing? Imagine I created a big automation test suite, friends, and that test suite is taking 24 hours to execute. Okay, big program to test complete Facebook. Now the client's requirement is you test this automation program on Firefox, Chrome, and IE. 24 hours it's taking on one browser, which means if you are doing serial testing, 24 hours I have to spend on Firefox, next 24 hours I have to spend on Chrome. So 3 days I'm spending only on 3 browsers. Now the client says you do the testing on Linux, Mac. I hope you are understanding. Selenium supports parallel testing, which means I can tell my Selenium program to run on multiple browsers and multiple operating systems all at the same time. It will launch Chrome, Firefox, IE, Safari. Similarly, it will launch multiple operating systems and perform the testing at the same time. We call it as parallel testing. It supports both serial and parallel testing. And a very, very exciting feature that we are actually going to learn. In fact, if you are interested, you can actually watch this video of mine on YouTube. Selenium supports what is called as headless testing. You know what is headless testing? Headless testing ante talakailem testing kaadu. Headless testing is a testing where the program will run even when the browsers are not installed on your machine. For example, let's imagine that I don't have Firefox installed on my machine. Using headless testing, I can make my Selenium program launch certain headless browsers. We have headless browsers like Trifle, JS, Phantom JS, HTML unit. See, when I say Firefox, when I say Chrome, you understand they are browsers, right? Similarly, these are graphical user interface browsers. I can look at the browser, I can interact with the browser. we have another set of browsers which do not have a graphical user interface. The names of those browsers are Phantom JS, HTML unit, etc. You can't see them, you can't directly interact with them, but Selenium can interact with it and Selenium can run the programs. Now, what is the advantage of running Selenium programs on headless browsers? We'll actually understand it. It's very, very fast execution of the program happens, and so many other features are there. But these are some of the popular features which are available in Selenium, due to which Selenium has become so popular in your automation industry. Okay, it's not my word. You can actually open any of your job portals, Naukri, Monster, wherever you search. There you just type Selenium jobs in Bangalore, Selenium jobs in Hyderabad, Chennai, whichever city you want. Similarly, you do the same thing for QTP and other tools. Then you will see the difference. There is no comparison. There is no comparison. And it's very easy to crack the interview on Selenium. The only thing is you need to have good understanding of basic Java, very basic Java. When I say Java, don't think that the Java that you might have learned in your college days or, no, it's very basic Java that we use. In Selenium, everything is inbuilt, everything is predefined. We just need to understand how to use the methods, where to use the methods. If that concept is clear, more or less, it's over. Okay, so this is just a very quick introduction to the reason why Selenium is so popular. Now, the next thing that I want to actually show you is what are the concepts that we will be actually covering as we go with our Selenium sessions. It's the course content. I'm sure all of you have received the hard copy or the soft copy, but we have actually introduced a lot of new features into our Selenium course, friends. Tomorrow, actually, we'll start off with the very first component of Selenium, which is called Selenium IDE. It's a very basic tool. It's very easy to learn. It does not require any programming knowledge. Of course, it has its advantages and also its disadvantages. Though it serves a very small purpose in your day-to-day automation job, it serves as a very good introduction to Selenium. So tomorrow I'll start off with Selenium IDE, and once IDE is over, as I told you previously, we will be starting Java right from the scratch. Okay, so once the IDE is over, I'll start Java right from the scratch. Whatever has been promised in your course content, each and every topic will be covered. There's no question that something will be skipped. Whatever has been promised both in Java, SQL and Selenium, everything will be delivered. Okay, so we'll try to have some understanding of Java, and after that we'll move into Selenium WebDriver. In fact, our primary concentration is on WebDriver. One of the reasons why Selenium is so popular is because of WebDriver. Okay, WebDriver is it actually uses. There are only mainly 13 methods for performing various activities. You just understand what those methods are, how to use those methods. WebDriver is more or less over. So we'll try to understand WebDriver in detail, and then we will be working on the frameworks. That's a very, very important concept, because when you are actually trying to show some experience on Selenium, you go for any interview, it's not only basic definitions of Java and WebDriver they might be asking. They will ask you about what are the frameworks you have used. Now, when it comes to frameworks, we will be covering data-driven framework, keyword-driven framework, modular-driven framework. When you combine all these, it's called as a hybrid framework. Now, some person might be hearing these words for the first time. Don't worry, don't worry. These are advanced concepts of Selenium. Probably these will be introduced maybe in the 4th week or 3rd week. Okay, it will take some more time, but just keep in mind, if you are planning to put some experience on Selenium, show some experience on Selenium, it's mandatory that you should talk about frameworks. They'll ask you what are the frameworks you have implemented, different things. Similarly, we will also be learning page object model, which is very, very popular alternative. In a way, it's an alternative for keyword driven framework. But what is page object model, how it is used, we'll understand. We will practically see what is grid. Remember, I was telling you that Selenium can perform cross-browser testing and cross-platform testing. That is implemented via grid. I will create my Selenium program on a Windows machine. but the execution will happen on a Linux machine or a Mac machine. I will not sit personally, I mean physically I'll not sit on the Linux machine, okay. I just sit on my Windows machine, create my regular Selenium code, execution happens on different operating systems. That can be cross-browser testing, cross-platform testing. Everything can be implemented on grid. Now, a very, very exciting feature that we have introduced is cloud testing. Rather than running our programs within our network, we will be running our programs on clouds like Sauce Labs or AWS. We just create an account on the AWS cloud or the Sauce Labs cloud. We create virtual machines over there and we run the programs. More and more organizations are currently implementing Selenium with cloud testing. You know, it's a very beautiful concept. If you understand grid, learning cloud testing is very easy. And we will be learning Docker. Now, it's just an introductory session, so I really cannot explain in detail what is Docker, but Docker solves the problem that is present in cloud testing. Don't you think in cloud testing, we are submitting our data to some cloud service provider? Let's say I want to do the testing on Microsoft Azure, or I want to do the testing on AWS cloud, which means whatever application that I want to test, maybe it's not gone live, it's not gone into production, it's still on my test servers. Don't you think I have to submit that application to the cloud service providers? Now, if there are any security vulnerabilities in the cloud side, we don't know what will happen to our application. To solve that problem, organizations, mostly banking related applications, are implementing Docker. Docker creates beautiful, very, very small containers in which you can run the program. Creation of these containers just takes probably 2 seconds or 3 seconds. Within that time, a container with a particular Linux kernel or something will be created. On that, you run the program. So what is Docker? How Selenium programs can be executed in Docker, we'll try to understand. We will also learn some version controlling systems like SVN and Git. Now, I can look at your faces and I can understand what is version controlling, what is Docker. Some of you are putting blank faces, but it's just an introduction. Don't worry, we'll actually see that. Version controlling is nothing but a server where at the end of the day, every tester will check in his code. Whatever automation programs I am creating today, at the end of the day, I have to upload into some server. That server performs some version controlling activities. So most popular ones are Git, SVN, etc. So what are they, how they work, we'll understand. We will also be learning two build tools of Java called Ant and Maven. Though Ant is not really that widely used, Maven is much more popular. We'll concentrate more on Maven, but Ant also we will cover over here. See, if you have any friends who are working as Java developers, they will also be using more or less the same tools. They do it for a little different purpose and we do it for something else. But you know, these are not core components of Selenium. These are components of Java and other third-party tools. We are integrating them with Selenium and we are trying to do some activity. Now, Selenium cannot test web applications. So to automate web applications, we'll be learning third-party tools like AutoIT, Robot, or Sequely. Any one of them, if you know, that's sufficient. Now, Cucumber, what is Cucumber? This is a API for implementing what is called BDD, behavior driven development. I know it's very high level terminology at this point of time, but BDD is mostly used for creating user acceptance test scripts. We call it as UAT, right? So that UAT, whatever automation scripts you have to create, that is generally created via Cucumber. Selenium cannot perform database testing. So to do database testing, we will also be learning JDBC. Through JDBC, I'll connect to the database and I'll perform some database testing. Jenkins is a tool for implementing continuous integration. See, apart from what is promised in our course content, I will be actually taking 1 or 2 sessions exclusively trying to explain what is Agile Scrum methodology. Most of the companies are currently implementing the Agile Scrum process. So we'll have 1 or 2 sessions where I'll clearly explain what is Scrum process, and you will see that the Scrum process, most of that flow is maintained using this tool called Jenkins. So Jenkins is a tool for implementing CI, continuous integration. It comes in Agile. So what that is, we'll try to see. So this is just a basic overview of the core components of Selenium. The detailed content probably you can actually see over here day by day what we are going to cover, starting off with Selenium IDE, how it goes. Just you know, the classroom training guys can actually collect a hard copy of the course content. Online guys will actually, probably we have already sent you the course content. If you did not get it, we'll forward it again. But this is about what we are actually going to see. Okay, so friends, that's it from my side. I just want to wind up the demo session. Tomorrow and day after tomorrow also, we will start the session at 8 o'clock, Indian time 8 o'clock, okay? Because demo sessions, I don't want to take much time. I'll just wind up in 40-45 minutes. Starting from Monday onwards, the session will start at 7:45 a.m. IST and we will have the session till 9:15. Complete 1.5 hours, we'll have the session, okay? There's no question of shortening the sessions or anything. Only first 3 days, because we still have new people about to join, we'll be winding up a little early. So any questions if you have, you can ask me.
Hello.
Yeah.
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah.
Like I have heard from some people, like being an Selenium experienced guy, like for an interview of experienced people, do one need an knowledge on both any two languages in which Selenium works, like Java and Python, is
No,
or
no,
else
no,
Java is enough?
no, not at all. I think it's Samira who's asking, right? Samira?
Yes,
No,
sir.
that's not at all true, Samira. I mean, I do have knowledge of Selenium with Java, Selenium with C Sharp, and also with Python. But when I'm actually implementing Selenium in my organization, I would be doing that only on one language. Why do you think any company would expect you to do the Selenium automation on two different languages?
It's not like doing automation with both the languages, but it might be an added advantage in the resume or for the interview in like getting a good.
I don't really think so, Samira, because maybe you're in US, you might have actually seen some profiles where they are asking for both. But
Yeah.
truthfully speaking, having good understanding of one of them is sufficient. But let me just talk about the pros and cons of both. For example, Selenium with Java and Selenium with C Sharp. These are the two main languages which are used for implementing Selenium. Now, Selenium with Java has more number of jobs compared to other languages. Okay, but the
Okay.
problem with Selenium with Java is we do have a little bit of competition also, because there are a lot of people who know Selenium with Java who are probably looking for the same job. When it comes to Selenium with C Sharp, there are less number of openings and there are very limited number of resources available for companies also. So getting a job on Selenium with C Sharp is relatively very easy at this point of time, though number of openings are less. And if one company is asking for requirement, if they are saying that you should know Selenium with Java and Selenium with C Sharp, it's not that they are expecting us to implement Selenium on both languages at the same time, but why organizations ask for multiple languages or multiple skills is, see, probably currently they want to do the automation on Selenium with Java, but they might be having plans that down the lane within another 6 months or 1 year, they might be planning that they have some .NET project and they would like to do Selenium automation purely using C Sharp. So instead of taking new resources, if already present resources can do that, it will be an added advantage. I would not really suggest that, but if you have that much time and if you are really willing to work on learning both the languages, it would be an added advantage. Always. Knowing more tools is an added advantage. There's no question about it. Some companies which are in migration from QTP to Selenium, they're asking you should know QTP and also Selenium. So it depends. So it's up to you.
So apart from this, like yes, if one need to learn some other language like apart from Java and Python something, and is that will it be implemented in the same like Selenium WebDriver? Like Selenium WebDriver will support both different languages like Java, Python, everything.
Yeah,
Will
but
it work like same as Java do, or do you have another path for that?
no, I did not understand your question. Are you saying that if tomorrow you want to move into Selenium with C Sharp, will it be similar or something else? Is that your
Yeah,
question?
yeah, of course. Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely similar. Absolutely similar. See,
Mm.
why I was able to migrate into Selenium with C Sharp and Python so easily was because I'm good with Selenium with Java. Once you are good with Selenium in one programming language, you will see that more or less the same methods are used in other languages also. So migrating into Selenium with C# or Python, you will not require, any training from any other person. If you are good with one language, say implementing Selenium with one language, moving into other languages, it'll be something like a cakewalk. You will not really find any obstacles over there. Okay?
Okay.
Fine.
Yes, sir.
Fine. So nice, really nice. So friends, that's it from my end.
Hello.
I would actually like
Sir,
to.
I have one more question. Maybe I'm too early to ask this question. Can I ask
Yeah,
that?
you can ask Samira.
Yeah, I'm your ex-student, and so I'm started practicing this Selenium everything. And
Nice.
unfortunately, I got a scenario yesterday, like while I was working with the Selenium WebDriver, unfortunately my Firefox got updated, and I can see an error like my one,
Yeah,
like that
got it.
host cannot be. Uh,
That's true. Selenium, currently the version of Selenium that we are using, which is 2.53, Samira, works only up to Firefox version 46. If you are having a
mhm.
Firefox version greater than 46, the Selenium program, the version of Selenium that we are using will not support it. So you just uninstall the Firefox which is present on your machine, download and install
Mhm.
any version of Firefox between 42, 43, 44, anything, 46 up to 46, and turn off the auto updates. Ensure that the updates are not automatically done, so that as long as our sessions are going on, it will remain on 45 or 46 and the programs will run. Okay, these concepts we'll discuss in 2 days. Once I start off with WebDriver, we'll come into that. Okay, Samira?
Okay, sir. I mean, I just want to resolve the problem. Actually, I did that, but I can find some error with the Selenium WebDriver. It's not not executing the programs which are written in that.
It will work
Um,
if you're using Selenium server version 2.53.1. If the version of Selenium is 2.53 and the browser
mm,
version is not greater than 46, Selenium programs will work.
Sir, is there any way to update Selenium WebDriver
Of course,
once we install it?
you can't update it. You have to download the latest jar file. That's one way. Or else we will be
Okay.
discussing a concept called as Maven after a few sessions. If you're using a
Mm-hmm.
Maven project, in Maven project, you can simply update the pom.xml file and automatically the updates will happen.
Okay.
Okay?
Thanks, sir.
Yeah, fine. So fine, friends, I'll actually stop the session for today. And tomorrow, I will be starting off with the IDE, the first component of Selenium. It's the very basic tool of Selenium. It's very easy to understand also. We'll start off with IDE tomorrow. Day after tomorrow also we'll work on IDE. Probably in the first 2 sessions, I'll try to wind up IDE so that from Monday onwards, I can start off with Java and WebDriver. We have actually, because again, I'm saying it's a lot of exciting features have been introduced. You will really enjoy the cloud testing part, Docker and all these things. But one thing that I want from all of you is, whether you already know Selenium or whether you are learning Selenium for the first time, one absolute requirement for this session to wind up this session successfully is absolute regularity to my classes. Absolute regularity. There's no question of missing even a single session, and at least practicing whatever we are teaching over here for 2 hours every day. Okay, you can either sit in our institute and practice over here. There's no limit. You can sit for as much time as you want and you can do the practice, or else you go home and do the practice. Doesn't matter, but absolute practice, regular practice is necessary, because we are not just learning Selenium from theoretical perspective. We are not learning definitions of Selenium. I know most of you are planning to put some experience on Selenium, 3 years, 4 years, whatever. So if you are really planning to put experience, just imagine within a span of 40 days or 45 days, we are trying to master Selenium to that extent. If you are really working on Selenium for the last 4 years or 3 years, what level of expertise you will have, that range of knowledge we are trying to condense in a period of 45 days. So in the session, it's my responsibility to explain the programs in such a way that you understand it. But hands-on experience is necessary, so you have to sit and do the practice. So please do not take even a single break. Even a single break do not take, and practice every day. If these two things you can promise, I can promise that within 1.5 months you will become a master in Selenium. There's no question about it. You'll become a master in Selenium. Okay, fine. It was really enjoyable talking to all of you today. I'll wind up the session. Tomorrow we will meet at 8 o'clock Indian time, and we will start with